What's up, Rasmanites? I know. A Batman shirt, and this is the amazing Spider-Man review. Well, this footage was actually pre-filmed way back when I got the film for my birthday in November of 2012. I just haven't been able to air the review yet because of some other stuff that has come up. So I wanted to throw this little intro on there and actually take the time to render this one. This will be probably the last one until I get a new computer, but I had to do it because since it was pre-filmed, well, other than the Dollhouse series, which of course is yet to be completed. But anyway, my point is, this was done before my 200 Unique People Challenge from Handi Enterprises Inc. So I wanted to remind anybody of that who didn't know about it and is willing to help me out. All you have to do is go to the description box down below where all the company contact information is and subscribe to the YouTube channel and like or follow any of our social media haunts. If I can see an increase in 200 people between the beginning of 2013 and the end of 2013, then I get a $200 bonus at the end of the year. So if you want to help me out with that, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, the other reason that this video episode had to be edited was because of what I say at the end. So, I hope you enjoyed this review of The Amazing Spider-Man. Alright, so like I said on my birthday haul video, really wanted to do a review for this because the majority of my fellow film buffs here in the YouTube film community were telling me that this was a god-awful film. And I really don't know where they're coming from. Other than, yes, the lizard is terrible. You can see right through his CGI and it's not realistic at all. It would have been better if they would have at least put some kind of makeup on Connors in the film. So, yeah, that was disappointing. And because the movie was filmed in 3D, a lot of the scenery, because I can only see it in 2D, looked a little bit fake or a little bit out of focus. But that was really only when I was looking really hard. As far as the actual plotline of the film, this plotline follows the origin of Spider-Man way more accurately than the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man did. Because, for one, Gwen Stacy was Peter's first love. It was never Mary Jane. So for him to get bit in a building where he's taking a photograph of Mary Jane, that throws it off right from the very beginning. And secondly, at least in every incarnation of Spider-Man I've ever read. You know me, I'm a hardcore geek, and if I'm wrong about something, or if there's different adaptations of something, I don't mind being told that. But, at least in every origin story I've ever read, the spider did indeed come from Oscorp. So, it made sense for the spider bite to happen in Oscorp. And I love that scene with all the different spiders coming down on him, you know, the pieces of what look like webbing, although he has to make his own webbing, which again was true to the comics, so I like that, you know, the idea that Peter had to make his own webbing was more true to the comics, and again, like Stan Lee said, the best thing about he said this in the special features, the best thing about the man-made webs was that if Peter ever got into trouble and ran out of webbing, what's he going to do now? I thought that was a very humanistic quality to the superhero that I missed when they went with the organic webs. So, yeah. There's that, and also the fact that he did some really cool things with them. There's a scene in the film where he's waiting on the lizard in a tunnel kind of area. It was called the sewer on the script pages of the film, but it's not an actual sewer. It's just like a big open tunnel area that looks really cool. He makes a giant web and sits in there and hangs out in there. And that's probably my favorite scene of the entire film. I just think it's awesome. So yeah, don't know what people are complaining about that. And Doc Connors and Peter's dad, Ben Parker, were real close workers together. They do have a history together, and that's why Peter originally was so psyched up to have a relationship with Connors. And why Peter does feel responsible for giving him the equation that ultimately turns him into the lizard. So yeah, that's the basic plot here. It's the same as before. Peter's parents are gone, although they made him an orphan in this film, and I don't remember if they just left him with Uncle Ben and Aunt May, or if there was an actual storyline told to that reason. I'll have to brush up on my comic book history and try to put it in an overlay. If I can't, I will talk about it in a future video episode, like maybe if they do a sequel to The Amazing Spider-Man, which after seeing this, I honestly hope that they do. So, yeah. But as far as I know, the origin story of how he got to Uncle Ben and Aunt May was true. And then, of course, Uncle Ben dies. And I thought Martin Sheen was great as Uncle Ben. I thought he played the role really, really well. And the only problem I had with it, as far as the central cast went, was Sally Field. I don't think Sally Field looks anything like Aunt May, so that bothered me a little bit. I think they just cast Sally Field because they wanted two iconic actors in the role of Aunt May and Uncle Ben, and you can't really fault them for that. But yeah, he was really the only hole, or she was really the only hole in the casting. And Stone is perfect as Gwen Stacy. The banter that her and Andrew Garfield have as Peter and Gwen was just amazing. I thought it was really spot on. And Captain Stacy, played by Reynolds. Oh, I forget his first name. Shane Reynolds, Mark Reynolds. Help me out here. Maybe it's on the back of the case. Oh, no. What am I talking about? Reynolds. I was thinking about something else entirely, I guess. Dennis Leary as Captain Stacy. I thought he was just brilliant. Completely brilliant. I think I might have been thinking about Mark Ruffalo. That's where I got Mark from. Mark Ruffalo being Incredible Hulk in the Avengers. But, yeah. Dennis Leary looks exactly like Captain Stacy in the comics. He's a perfect, almost pixel for pixel live action version of Gwen Stacy's dad, Captain Stacy, and I thought he was fantastic. And like I said, Emma Stone was fantastic. She's probably my favorite young Hollywood actress next to Jennifer Lawrence. I enjoy everything she's ever been in. And Andrew Garfield was perfect as Peter. He played it more realistic to the comic book origin Peter. He had that trademark Peter Parker wit and sarcasm about him. Everything I thought I would like about this film from the trailer just rang true. And I was very, very happy about that. I think that people were, before I wrap it up, because I was about to wrap it up here and go into the special features. The basic central plot line is, after Uncle Ben dies, or right before Uncle Ben dies, Peter goes and seeks out Dr. Connors' because he finds out about the connection between Connors and his father, and Connors is secretly working on this equation to give humans reptile destruction capabilities, and with his father, and Peter doesn't understand why they kept it secret, so Peter actually finishes the equation for Connors and subsequently has to end up stopping Connors as his first major villain. And Captain Stacy dies at the end, which, if memory serves, that's a little bit of a switch because they wanted to keep Gwen around a little bit longer. I couldn't remember if Gwen died first or Captain Stacy died first. Again, I'll have to go back and do my Spider-Man research, and if I have done it by the time this review airs, again, that'll be an overlay. If not, it'll be in a future episode. But, yeah, that's the basic plot line, and like I said, Andrew Garfield had the wit, the trademark Spider-Man wit that you need to play the role, and I just had an absolute blast playing the role. Yeah, I guess the only other thing you can nitpick at was that the suit was different than any of the comic book origins, but the suit should be different because they were going for a Spider-Man that could be set in 2012 with modern technology, and they were looking at it realistically, like how would this kid go about making this suit, and he made it from elements that he actually had access to, the sunglasses and the bottom of the soles from the sneakers. So I thought, with that aspect in mind, I thought this was a very realistic suit that Peter Parker could have made. And we saw the evolution of it because he was just in a red ski mask in the beginning with sunglasses over the top. So I thought it was a very realistic progression. And it wasn't anything that bugged me. Like I said, the only real thing that bugged me in the film was the overuse of CGI, but that bugs me in most Hollywood blockbusters these days. I thought everyone played their roles perfectly, and I thought it was just a very, very good film. And I think for people in this generation that had never seen the Toby, and I apologize for my dog, Toby in the background as I'm about to talk about Toby Maguire, I thought that this, for people that had never seen the Tobey Maguire films, I thought this was just a really well done, more modern take, more accurate take to the comic book Spider-Man origin. Yeah, it was overly CGI, but I think, like I said, I think people that saw the Tobey Maguire trilogy, I think are just too partial to that trilogy and those actors, instead of looking at this as a separate telling of Spider-Man. So, my recommendation is, if you haven't seen this and you're on the fence about it, please see it, because I think it's a lot better than people gave it credit for. That's just my opinion. I don't know if I'm going to change yours, but I think it's a lot better than people give it credit for. And even without having the Target special edition, which, as I said, in my birthday haul I didn't know about and had to actually not get because I prefer having the steelbook, which hopefully I'll be showing you here in a minute if I ended up getting that. But I think that just the standard edition of the film was really loaded. Ton of featurettes talking about the decision, talking about Marc Webb's direction when they decided to go the route that they went, and I think Marc Webb is an absolutely brilliantly talented director and the perfect fit for the film. It's probably who I would have hired because I love 500 Days of Summer, and he really does have a good handle on the teen angst world, which is a central part of the relationship of Peter's growth and of course the relationship with Gwen. So I thought Marc Webb was a perfect choice. And yeah, I just really liked everything about the film. And I got off track because I ended up talking about the film again because Toby's distracting me in the background. But yeah, a ton of featurettes, some stuff on why they went in a different direction, how they put everything together. Some really cool deleted scenes, a gag reel, some production stills, and on disc one, a very worthwhile commentary by Avi Arad, Marc Webb, and I think a few others. The commentary was really cool to listen to. Yeah, I went all the way through this, and the first night when I got this, when I opened it, I watched the film and watched everything on the disc because I was that impressed with it. So, yeah, for me, this is definitely worth seeing. If I didn't get the steelbook, I'll cut in a look at the disc for this edition right now. At the moment, disc 2 is still in my Blu-ray player because I went right from doing this to filming my birthday haul, or right from seeing the film to filming my birthday haul, and then subsequently this review while I had the shirt on. So, yeah, I'll cut in the look of both disc if I stuck with this one. If I didn't, then you'll see the steelbook right now. Here is the Amazing Spider-Man steelbook. I did end up getting it even though I already had the original Blu-ray release of Spider-Man as a birthday gift. Like I said, this was an intended birthday gift, and I just couldn't pass it up because of how much I love the film. And if there's an epic edition out there of this for like this for something you love and you have the money to get it, I just can't justify not getting it. This will be the last time probably that I end up double dipping on a release of something I already have, but I felt like this was justified because, like I said, this was originally intended to be my one and only copy of The Amazing Spider-Man, so I just couldn't see myself not having it. So thanks once again to Chill Pilgrim 1138. I split the payments on this over the last payment that everything else you see, or have seen, sorry, and this update came with, and then my next payment, which should come either the day that this goes up or the day after this goes up. So here's the front, of course. Here's the back. And then, of course, here the disc. I had to rearrange these a little bit because for some strange reason, whoever put this steelbook together, like the marketing people at Best Buy, they did it completely backwards. They had the DVD copy that hardly anybody is going to watch when you get a Blu-ray steelbook as the first disc in the set. Then they had the Blu-ray 3D, then the special features, then the Blu-ray 2D. Well, since I don't have a Blu-ray 3D player, of course you can figure out what I did. You have my disc 1, which is the Blu-ray 2D feature film, which is Peter on the cover, the disc art. Then you have disc 2, which is the Blu-ray special features. It's the beautiful and vivacious Emma Stone as Gwen Stacy. And I'm so glad to actually have a Gwen Stacy disc that I can keep now, because the Gwen Stacy photo was on the DVD and the original release, and of course that went to my nephew Caden. So that's pretty awesome. And then as disc 3, I have the Amazing Spider-Man 3D Blu-ray with Spidey on the disc art, and as disc 4, I have the DVD with Connors as the disc art. So, yeah, just an absolutely beautiful Blu-ray steelbook. Could not pass this up. I'm an idiot. I forgot to show you the inner artwork yesterday in that outfit. So, here's where the Blu-ray feature film was. It's in my player right now, but you can see it's the cityscape with the webbing. And then it's cityscape with the webbing. I don't know how well you can see this one because the glare from my desktop light is getting on it, but yeah, there you go. So there you go. Just an absolutely beautiful Blu-ray steelbook. Could not pass it up. This is reality according to the Razman and Razman style. It's not just a catchphrase, but a way of life.